Good morning slash afternoon slash evening, everyone. I want to start with a question. What does it mean to live brave? Many of us think bravery is about grand acts, standing on a battlefield, or being fearless in the face of danger. But I believe, and research supports, that true bravery is found in the small moments when we choose courage over comfort. Living brave is showing up in the world as our authentic selves. It's daring to have hard conversations, standing firm in our values, and taking action even when we're scared. It's not about eliminating fear. It's about feeling it, acknowledging it, and moving forward anyway. Courage requires vulnerability. We often separate bravery and vulnerability, but in reality, they are the same thing. You cannot be brave without allowing yourself to be vulnerable, whether it's asking for help, sharing your ideas, or admitting that you don't have all the answers. These moments require incredible strength. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is the birthplace of courage, connection, and creativity. Shame thrives in secrecy. Own your story. One of the biggest barriers to brave living is shame. Shame tells us we are not enough, that we are unworthy of love, success, or belonging. But here's the truth. Shame only has power over us when we keep it locked away. When we name our struggles and own our stories, shame loses its grip. If we want to live brave, we must replace self-judgment with self-compassion. We must give ourselves permission to be imperfect and understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey to success. Failure, a stepping stone, not a verdict. Too often we let the fear of failure hold us back. We avoid risks because we don't want to fall short. But here's the paradox. Playing it safe is the riskiest move of all. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens in the moments when we stumble, learn, and rise again. Think of every great innovator, leader, or creator. None of them succeeded without failure. The difference is they refused to let failure define them. They saw it as data, not a declaration of defeat. Authenticity requires boundaries. Bravery isn't just about taking risks, it's also about setting boundaries. It's about knowing that being authentic doesn't mean saying yes to everyone and everything. It means having the courage to stand up for yourself, to say no when necessary, and to surround yourself with people who support and respect your journey. Leaning into discomfort. Finally, living brave means being willing to sit in discomfort. Growth doesn't happen when everything is easy. It happens when we challenge ourselves, when we lean into the unknown, and when we take a stand for what we believe in. Bravery is not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about stepping into life wholeheartedly, knowing that fear, doubt, and uncertainty will show up, but choosing to show up anyway. So my challenge for you today is this. What does living brave mean for you? Where in your life can you trade comfort for courage? Because the world doesn't just need more smart people, talented people, or successful people. Um, it needs more brave people, and that starts with you. Would you like any refinements to the speech? Courage is often misunderstood as the absence of fear. We look to brave figures in history or our lives and think they must have been fearless. The reality is that courage isn't about being free from fear. It's about showing up despite it. It's about stepping into the arena, even when our knees are shaking and our minds are filled with self-doubt. Fear will always be there, lurking in the background, reminding us of the risks and potential failures. But true courage isn't about ignoring that fear. It's about acknowledging it and choosing to move forward anyway. Every time we show up in the face of fear, we build our resilience. We prove to ourselves that we are capable of facing what feels impossible. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's the action we take despite it. Each time we confront our fears, we diminish their power, and we grow in the process. Living courageously doesn't mean we are without fear. It means we choose to keep moving, keep creating, keep loving, and keep pushing through. Bravery is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move through it with intention and purpose. Vulnerability is often viewed as a weakness, something we should protect and hide. However, the truth is that vulnerability is the very foundation of bravery. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open ourselves to connection, growth, and new opportunities. Vulnerability means exposing ourselves to the possibility of disappointment, rejection, or failure, but it is in this exposure that we truly discover our strength. The willingness to be vulnerable, whether it's sharing our deepest fears, asking for help, or expressing our true selves, requires immense courage. In these moments, we step away from the protection of perfection or control and embrace the raw, unfiltered truth of who we are. It is through vulnerability that we create the space for authentic connections with others. When we show up as our true selves, we invite others to do the same, and in that exchange, we find a profound sense of belonging. Bravery isn't about being unbreakable, it's about being open, honest, and real, no matter the outcome. The most courageous thing we can do is let ourselves be seen as we are in all our imperfections. Vulnerability is not our weakness, it is the source of our greatest strength. Shame thrives in secrecy. It is the silent killer of self-worth, growing stronger when we hide our struggles, mistakes, and perceived flaws. Shame tells us that we are unworthy, that we are not good enough, and that our imperfections make us less than others. But the power of shame diminishes the moment we shine a light on it. When we choose to acknowledge and speak our truth, we disarm shame. By owning our story, we take away its ability to control us. Sharing our experiences, whether they involve failure, pain, or vulnerability, creates an opportunity for healing and growth. It reminds us that we are not alone, that others too have faced similar challenges. When we keep our struggles hidden, we isolate ourselves, believing that no one else could possibly understand. But when we share, we open the door to connection, compassion, and understanding. Vulnerability is not just about admitting weakness. It's about showing up, being real, and owning our humanity. The more we embrace our stories, the more we take away shame's grip on us. In the end, our authenticity is our greatest strength, and by reclaiming our power, we become the fullest version of ourselves. Failure is often seen as a negative outcome, something to avoid at all costs. But the truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It's an essential part of the journey. When we fail, it doesn't mean we're defeated. It means we're trying, learning, and growing. Every mistake carries valuable lessons that move us closer to our goals. In fact, many of the world's most successful people have failed countless times before reaching their greatest achievements. They didn't let failure define them, they let it refine them. Failure is where innovation happens, where creativity is born, and where resilience is forged. It teaches us what doesn't work, which paves the way for discovering what does. The fear of failure often keeps us stuck, preventing us from taking risks or stepping out of our comfort zones. But in truth, it's the failures that challenge us to stretch beyond what we thought possible. They give us the opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more equipped for the future. So instead of avoiding failure, we must embrace it as a vital part of the process. It's not a verdict. It's simply data, an opportunity to adjust, try again, and keep moving forward. Authenticity requires us to set boundaries. It's not just about being true to ourselves in thought and action. It's about protecting our energy and well-being by knowing when to say no. Too often, we confuse being authentic with people-pleasing, thinking that in order to be loved or accepted, we must always say yes and put others' needs before our own. But this is a trap that leads to burnout, resentment, and ultimately inauthentic living. Authenticity isn't about doing everything for everyone. It's about showing up as your true self and ensuring that you have the space to honor your values, your needs, and your dreams. Boundaries are not walls, they are protective fences that allow us to nurture our own growth while also engaging with the world around us. When we honor our boundaries, we create healthier relationships with others and with ourselves. And we teach people how to treat us and prioritize what truly matters. Saying no doesn't make us selfish, it makes us self aware. It means we understand that our energy is precious and that in order to give our best to others, we must first give our best to ourselves. Only then can we live authentically and without compromise. Living bravely means embracing discomfort and leaning into it instead of avoiding it. Growth doesn't happen in the safety of our comfort zones. It happens when we step into the unknown, face our fears, and take risks that challenge our limits. When we resist discomfort, we deny ourselves the opportunity to evolve. Bravery is about being willing to face those uneasy moments with courage and curiosity, knowing that they hold the potential for our greatest transformation. Whether it's speaking up in a meeting, pursuing a passion that feels risky, or confronting a difficult truth, these moments of discomfort are the very things that propel us forward. It's natural to seek comfort, but if we always choose the easy path, we miss out on the growth that only comes through struggle. Discomfort is not a sign that we're doing something wrong. It's a sign that we're stretching, learning, and expanding our capacity to handle life's challenges. It's in the discomfort of trying something new, of facing our insecurities, and of failing and getting back up that we truly find our power. So instead of avoiding discomfort, we should learn to lean into it because it is the doorway to becoming the best version of ourselves. In conclusion, living brave is not about being fearless or perfect. It's about showing up in the face of fear, embracing vulnerability, owning our stories, and daring to fail. It's about setting boundaries that protect our authenticity and leaning into discomfort because we know that growth lies beyond the familiar. It's about living with intention, courage, and compassion for ourselves and others. The path to bravery isn't always easy, but it is the most rewarding journey we can take. By choosing to live brave, we create a ripple effect that inspires others to do the same. We build a world where people aren't just existing, they're living fully, authentically, and courageously. So I challenge you today to ask yourself, where can you show up more bravely in your life? What discomfort are you willing to embrace to become the person you're meant to be? Because the truth is, the world needs more brave hearts. Hearts that are willing to face fear, speak truth, and move forward even when it feels difficult. The moment you decide to live brave, you unlock not only your potential, but the collective power of every person who dares to follow that example. Let's choose bravery together.